Howdy, everybody. I'm Susan with Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
I'm Monica.
And we are here to talk and share information about the historical, natural, and cultural world around us.
Yes, and we would really appreciate it if you like this content and you're sticking around to watch us, that you give us a thumbs up, that you share, maybe drop a comment down if you have a question or
subscribe.
A suggestion. Yeah, and especially subscribe.
Yes.
We would really, really appreciate if you take the time to do that.
Yeah, we really appreciate that as we really try to bring things of interest to you or things that we think that, people don't know as much about. So today is one of those days.
Today is one of those days.
Hold on to your seat.
Because Okay, go.
Well, so today we're going to cover, sometimes when we're checking, what we should cover, it's kind of like, do we want to do historical? Is it natural? And today is a historical kind of place. Today is Harpers Ferry National Historic Park.
When you mentioned that's what we were going to be talking about, for some reason my mind went immediately to Harper Valley PTA by Jeannie C. Riley.
Okay, no.
Such a good song, though, isn't it?
Harper Valley PTA.
If you've never heard it, you should look it up because that mama kicks some butt. But anyway, please go ahead.
That mama. It was originally established as a national monument in 1944, but when it was initially done as a national monument, the significance of why it was a national monument was more about what it had to do with the Civil War. Mm-hmm. So, yes, this is going to be a little history for you.
Yeah, I know.
But this is Harpers Ferry, and I do believe it's a park. It's a national historic park because they widened what they were wanting to preserve. And this is located in West Virginia. So originally back in the day, like around 1794, George Washington's Congress said, hey, I think we need a national armory. And George Washington, because he was president at the time,
sure,
said, okay, well, how about we do one that's in Harpers Ferry? And they were like, okay. So it was initially in 1794 an actual national armory. It was the second one. The first one was in Springfield, Massachusetts.
I wonder what made him pick that.
I'll tell you. I'm so glad you asked.
Okay, well, tell us.
He picked it because he said, I think we need to probably have one that's not on the water, near the water, because it's too susceptible to being,
Sure.
attacked.
Sure.
So this went inland.
Okay.
So, now if you know where Harpers Ferry is, because it's kind of it's really at a crossroads of Virginia, Maryland, and West Virginia. So it's inland some. It's not inland a ton. It's inland some. And one of the cool things about this place, most people probably think of Harpers Ferry and think about the Civil War and John Brown.
I think about a ferry.
I don't even know if there are ferries on Harpers Ferry.
I'm sorry, you say something ferry, my first inclination is to think about, it must be a really famous ferry, or that ferry is used a lot to go from one place to another, but you're telling me that this is inland?
Well, there's water around it, but
there's no ferry.
I don't know. I don't know why it was called Harpers Ferry now that I think about it. But it is at the confluence of the Shenandoah River.
Okay.
Oh, Shenandoah, I love to hear you. Always.
Stop.
The windy river.
Stop.
Or whatever the lyrics are.
Nobody knows that song anymore.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Nobody knows that song.
Don't break my heart out there. Everybody should know Oh Shenandoah. Anyhow, so the Shenandoah River and the Potomac River, there's a confluence of the two rivers right there.
Okay.
So, but again, you go, okay, but we wanted to have this as a national armory. Well, it's on the river.
Right.
People can come up the river, but evidently it was okay.
Okay.
So, anyhow, but...
Easier to guard, maybe, where the... I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. But anyhow, so... The significance, again, initially had to do more with John Brown and the, quote, Civil War. Now, I think it's important to understand who John Brown is. Now, John Brown was known as an abolitionist, right?
Right.
And while he was a God-fearing man and believed in the Golden Rule, he also was kind of I'm tired of, being a pacifist and trying to, all these people that are doing protests not in a violent way because it's not getting anything done and slavery continues.
Right.
So he was like, we got to have violence. We got to take it by storm. We got to get rid of this slavery. We're going to take it by storm.
Right.
So that's what kind of made him stand out.
Yes, I did do a tiny bit of research on this and thought, well, okay, this guy was, he's carrying peace to the next level.
Yes.
That's the only way it's the only way I can think to put it.
That's a good way to put it. And I, just to do a little aside about the whole Civil War aspect of this in this area, my interest in like American history came from the 8th grade in my history class and my history teacher that taught us a lot about the Civil War. There was a way that he described it, and it was like fascinating to understand the mechanics and the logistics and the things that all went into how
What was his name?
Carolee. I can't remember
Yes,
his first
Mr.
name.
Carolee. Okay, I never had him. I had somebody else.
Yeah,
Wait, he
so-
wasn't the short bald dude, right?
No, he was not.
Okay.
He was short, but he wasn't bald.
I ignored all my history teachers, but go ahead.
But anyhow, but from him, I really got a love of American history and particularly our military history. And so John Brown was always one of the ones that kind of stood out, particularly when it came to the Civil War. And what's interesting is that John Brown's raid actually happened in 1859. And you say, why is that significant?
Why is that significant, Susan?
I'm so glad that you...
This is why I'm here.
Because the Civil War didn't start until 1861.
Oh.
But they still say that this was the precursor because John Brown's raid is he took up that little fire station place there in Harpers Ferry, and he took in people and was like trying to get slaves to revolt and be armed and fight against, the people who were enslaving them.
Right.
And so that was the whole big ruckus. That's what happened.
Wasn't he either influenced or influential in the Underground Railroad?
I'm sure he was.
Do I remember reading something like that? It could be. Could maybe not. I don't know.
But it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because he was very much an abolitionist.
Right,
and so,
right.
Trying to get the enslaved to be unenslaved.
Right.
But so John Brown's raid, that's what everybody talks about, right? So he took up this place, took up arms, and while he wanted the enslaved folks to become part of the, revolt, they didn't want to participate in that. They were reading the tea leaves, and so...
Get out while the getting's good?
Yeah, pretty much. But what's interesting about it, though, is that Robert E. Lee and some Marines came and had to quell the rebellion. Now, of course, Robert E. Lee ended up fighting for the South, right? Which is an interesting thing, right? But at the time, he was a graduate of West Point and all, and so, he was doing what he needed to do, like stop the rebellion. But in the process of the rebellion, there are some Marines that died. Obviously, then John Brown, he survived, but I think he had 10 or 12 people with him in the place, and most of them died, and 2 of them were his sons. But he was captured. So he was captured, and now this is October of 1859. He's captured. He's alive. He's captured, right? And he gets tried, convicted, and then he gets hung, all within 2 months.
Damn.
Talk about swift punishment.
That was fast.
It was fast. I'm like, nothing ever happens that fast.
Trying to shut people up?
I guess so. But, so, that's what it's mostly known for, is John Brown's raid, or rebellion, however you want to talk about it. And people think about it or talk about it also in relation to the Civil War, that it really was kind of the impetus for the Civil War.
And that's what I was going to say. So it was kind of the what would you say, the match to the flame of the stick of dynamite.
Now, granted, the Civil War didn't officially kind of happen for a couple of years, because it starts in April of 1861. Fort Sumter is the first real battle. But during that time, you could sense this uneasiness was happening. Now, and again, you're talking about West Virginia. I think, I don't know if it was West Virginia at the time, but it's West Virginia today. There's a whole list of border states that go around that, right? Neither north nor south. They were just border states between the north and south, right? And this was kind of one of those areas. And the significance of this area is that this place during the Civil War changed hands 8 times.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was an important place because of why? The 2 rivers.
Okay.
It was an important place.
Sure. Well, because you would be using rivers, I assume, as a highway in effect to get goods in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of a supply area, right?
Yeah.
So it was fertile ground for the Civil War. But so the other thing, when it went from being recognized as a national monument to being recognized as a national historic park, they broadened what it was that they were really recognizing, which again was that this was essentially the second national armory that we had in the United States, thanks to George Washington. So that was important, right?
Right.
The fact that from a natural standpoint, it's the confluence of the two rivers, the Shenandoah River and the Potomac River. And then this is a part that I find fascinating.
Tell me more.
I know. I hope someone out there is finding this interesting because it is fascinating history.
Please.
So have you ever heard of Storer College?
Yes. Because I read it when I was doing a little tiny bit of research for this.
Well,
So I wouldn't look completely stupid.
so Storer College in West Virginia in Harpers Ferry, there is significance to this college in that it was a college that was started by white folks, basically, for the formerly enslaved people. Like, they said, these folks, we need to help them get educated and, be able to care for themselves and fend for themselves, and be able to do for themselves. So they had this, and this college was around for a long time. I want to say like 90 years.
That's where I saw Frederick Douglass's
Yes,
name
yes.
associated with Storer College.
Yeah.
Now that it's all coming back to me.
It's like a dream, not a nightmare.
5 minutes worth of information coming in. I got it.
It's like, see pictures. So anyhow, but Storer College, I want to say they graduated or had, 700 people go through that, and formerly enslaved folks. I mean, just think about the contribution that was to the area at the time.
Yeah.
It was just, that people saw that there was that need, particularly after the Civil War, for these folks, and to give them a shot at even having better lives, and definitely better lives than what they had, right? So that's part of this why this is called a park, because there are several important things that have happened in this area. Now, I have been there a couple of times. Have you ever been out that way? No. I don't even know why I asked, but I did. Well, let me tell you. So I've been out that way. I've been to Harpers Ferry twice. Now,
I'm not shocked.
Well, but the first time I went was in 1997.
Ooh, okay.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I went again I think it was in 23. I went in 2023.
Okay.
And it's still kind of the same thing. And it is really a quaint place to go. You kind of walk into, you park and you kind of walk into downtown, and they've got these buildings, and of course you can see where John Brown's raid happened. You can walk over to where the two rivers come together. You can, walk through the town. They have lots of exhibits and things for you to see that are about that time period, so that you can be more familiar with that. And I just thought that they did a really great job at preserving kind of what that town must have been like back in the day.
So let me ask you this. What makes you go back to a place like that? What was it about it? Like we talked in one of the previous episodes that we did about Acoma, and how much I really wanted to return there, and how I'd been living rent-free in my head because I was so enthralled with it, and really enjoyed my time there. And for me, it was out, it was in the desert, it's, nature in part, and then of course the culture of the people. So what makes you want to go back to a place like that that's not quite the same?
Yeah, but it's funny that you say that, because I think I've been to Gettysburg, 3 or 4 times, because it's a place you would go back to many times, right? So Harpers Ferry, I wanted to go back to because when I had gone in 1997, I recognize now as an adult how much I didn't appreciate what it was about then. And as I've grown older and really taken more time to really understand some of these historic places that are around our country, really want to go back and learn and understand them as an adult. And again, if you remember, this is kind of why we're doing this podcast too, right? So it's not just for national park sites, but it's for all these areas that are around us that we don't even quite give a second thought to sometimes.
Yeah.
We have an episode that by the time this airs has already come out, would be on the Camino Real de los Tejas, that we live in a city where that trail comes through.
Right.
But it's like I never really paid it much attention. So for some of these sites that I've been to 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it's because I want to appreciate them more and more as an adult.
Okay.
And there's just so much that's out there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So anyhow, but that's what marks this place. It's a great place to go visit, to kind of hang out, do a lunch down there downtown. And see those historic sites. Now, one of the things I thought was also cool is that they call it the psychological midpoint of the Appalachian Trail. Like the people who hike the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
It's kind of like the psychological, which I get, midpoint.
Like it's one of those make it or break it kind of things.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, because when we were there, we were one of the stores area that had like some outdoor seating. It's like people were on the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
And they were coming through. You had all their big backpacks and everything, and they were stopping, taking a rest and stuff because it goes right through there.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to stop and you can talk to them because they're just resting and stuff, and they don't mind telling you about their journeys and all. But that is one of the significances of that place as well. Like in current day terminology, that people view that as kind of the halfway point of the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, that's very cool. That's good to know.
It actually really kind of is.
Well, it is because also if there's any hiking in the area, I'm assuming there are branches of the trail that you can access from there. You wouldn't obviously you're not doing a through trail, but there's pieces of it.
Yeah, but to your point, it's kind of a walkable city. I mean, so really we parked and then we really literally just walked around, and then you can kind of walk out to, I think they call it Jefferson Stone. It's a little ways out of the town, but it's not far from a walking distance. But you can go out there and then you can get a good overview. So there's plenty of walking to do around there. And as I said, many of the buildings that are open and kind of refurbished for you to look and check out as well.
Well, it sounds interesting. I mean, okay.
You almost sounded sincere.
No, I'm being sincere. It may not necessarily be my kind of place, but honestly, that's one of the reasons that we do this, is because not everybody is going to like every park that we talk about or every site that we talk about. Some people want to go to these sites because they're interested in the history. Yeah. Some people want to go to other sites because they're interested in the culture. And some of you want to just go so you can get outdoors and go hike or something. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point.
And some people may just want to go to get a stamp in their national park book. Well, there you can do that too.
You can do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because one of the other things that came up about again where the John Brown raid happens is the fire engine building. That it was built again as an armory, but then he took it over and what have you. But they dismantled it in 1891 and took it to Chicago for the World's Columbian Exposition. Yeah, so they.
Wow. Okay.
It's interesting because when you see pictures of it back then to what it is now, obviously it's been kind of zhuzhed up a little bit, but it was returned eventually back to Harpers Ferry. But it was put on a farm, so it wasn't even put back where it was. And eventually, Storr College said perhaps we should get it closer to where it actually ever was.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank goodness for them. But they located it to where it is today, and that's about 150 feet maybe from its original site. But it's just interesting how we dismantle something to go put it on exhibit, and they go, okay, we're done with the exhibit. We bring it back and put it on a farm.
We're just going to dump it somewhere. We're done.
It's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
It takes so little. Come on.
That's crazy.
But I guess, I don't know if back then when they were putting it back to where it should be, I'm sure other things had built in that time and what have you. So,
yeah.
But, so like Monica said, it's a really cool place if you're interested in the Civil War or have ever heard about, because a lot of people have heard about John Brown, but really didn't understand what it is that he did. This is a really neat place because he is really recognized for this rebellion and how it really lit the match to the Civil War that was to follow in the next couple of years.
Well, that's all very interesting. And, if I ever go in that direction or in that area, then perhaps it would be something I would look up. Perhaps.
So anybody out there in West Virginia want to give us a shout out to say, hey, this is the place to go?
we'll look for it.
That's right. So anyhow, so that's essentially it. So it was quite the transformational place. Again, changed hands during the Civil War a lot. It was ground that was fought over because of its area, and it is beautiful out there because they have cliff sides, they have the water, they have greenery, they have everything from a viewing standpoint. So
Nice.
you should get out there and go check it out.
Nice. And if there are any hiking trails in or around that area, I'll make sure to link that to the blog.
Yeah, it's a little hilly in some places, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. You can
Sounds
get a
good.
good B&B over there too, because they have some really quaint B&Bs out there.
Nice.
Because
nice.
I've been there a couple of times.
Have you now? All right. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up Harpers Ferry National Historic Park. Be sure to check it out. Check out our podcast and other podcasts about other national historic sites that we have out on our YouTube.
Please share. Please thumbs up. Like it.
Subscribe, share,
Drop
like
some
us.
comments.
Get a notification because you want to know when are we out there.
Yeah. You never know.
Because we may go live one day and you won't want to miss that.
That's right. You won't, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of laughs.
All right, well, anything else?
Nope. I think that covers it.
All right, well, remember to go hike your own hike.
Hike your own hike.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.